to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. Just want to let everybody know I'll be live tonight on Bad Dogs channel for Talking Giants on Bad Dog Sports, so go on over there and check it out. In addition to that, I'm going to have Lloyd, one of my best subscribers, on the channel today to talk Giants. That should probably be up in about 3 or 4 hours, so looking forward to that, and I may have another video, who knows. But in this video, I'm going to talk about an article that came out today from NJ.com, and this is not the first time I've heard Shaun Bradley's name being linked to the New York Giants, potentially in the draft, but we'll talk about that. We'll get into some of his strengths, some of his weaknesses, and do a player breakdown. The Giants, of course, are in the market for a linebacker, which is why New York Giants fans are clamoring to potentially take Isaiah Simmons, and I completely get it. Simmons is an athletic freak, and he's a guy whose strength is, coverage and getting after the quarterback. From what I've read about Shaun Bradley, he seems like a poor man's Isaiah Simmons, which is why he's being mocked between rounds 4 and 6. Most mock sites I see is going in the 6th round area, but maybe the Giants would take him in the 5th or maybe even as early as the 4th round. He grew up in New Jersey, much like another prospect on Temple, who's been linked to the Giants, who's actually come out and said he wants to be a Giant, and that is the center, Matt Hennessy. If the Giants were to take Hennessy, I would think he'd probably be a 3rd-round pick if they don't take a center in the 2nd. But that was an interesting thing there, that they both grew up in Jersey, and the Giants have been linked to both of them. Bradley is known to be a coverage linebacker, but a guy that, from everything I read, would also be a very good special teams contributor. Now, if they have their eyes set on Bradley, I know a lot of Giants fans' initial thoughts will be, well, does that mean they're not going to take Simmons? I don't necessarily know if that's the case. They also may be looking at Bradley as a potential option if they are to trade down and to take a tackle. They may not be interested in Bradley if they stay at 4, and they may take Simmons. We're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out on draft night, but Bradley, going all the way back to February, has been on the New York Giants' radar. He had a strong combine. We'll get into those numbers as well. But let's start with the quote from Matt Lombardo of NJ.com that was reported by Giants Wire. The Giants have shown consistent interest in Temple linebacker Shaun Bradley dating back to the NFL scouting combine and throughout the pre-draft process, according to an individual with knowledge of the situation, writes NJ.com's Matt Lombardo, and that is true because when I did research, I went on to see articles written in February about the Giants' interest in this kid. Bradley has the potential to be chosen anywhere between the 4th and 6th rounds of the draft later this month. Fortunately for the West Hampton native, he was invited to the combine, so teams got the chance to see him go through a full workout. And we're going to get into the numbers of how he performed at the combine. Now, he's a little bit undersized. Like Simmons, he's light in weight. I think he's 230 was his playing weight. I think he weighed in at 238, if I'm not mistaken, at the combine, though. So close to Simmons, who was 240. Simmons, of course, is 6'4". Bradley's only 6'1". But here's how he did at the combine. He ran a 4.51 on the 40, 14 on the bench, 32.5 on the vert, 121 on the broad, 707 on the 3-cone drill, and 4.24 on the 20-yard shuttle. So definitely respectable numbers. In terms of how he did at Temple, he's actually a former running back, which is a common theme with linebackers that you see at the collegiate level, rather. People are looking more and more for athletic players to play that position. He didn't really get an opportunity to play until 2017, where he recorded a combined 85 tackles, where he really bursted onto the scene. He had 1 sack, 1 interception. His junior year, he had 78 tackles with 2 interceptions, and then last year, he had 86 total tackles and was actually on the watch list for the Bronco Nagurski Award, which I believe goes to the best linebacker in the country, and was known as a good player, which is why he's being projected to be drafted between rounds 4 and 6. In terms of his strengths, he was a 3-year starter, awarded Temple tough single-digit number before junior season, patient sifting through misdirection before attacking, effective radar as a gap shooter to disrupt near goal line, impressive solo tackle rate of 65%, quick slide step to slip blocker and find his tackle try, adequate coverage instincts dropping into space, has core special teams experience with history of production, and has running back carries and fake punt production. So, seems a bit of a versatile player and seems a guy that could definitely be a special teams contributor. And Joe Judge, of course, has a knack for looking for that. So, they could be interested in him not even being as a linebacker, but more so as a special teams contributor in the later rounds if he is there. In terms of his weaknesses, small frame as an inside linebacker, struggles to stack and shed climbing blocks, play recognition and instincts are just average, would like to see him play faster and zip downhill ahead of blocking schemes, play speed and pursuit quickness are just average, loses gap integrity when avoiding blocks, and lacks twitch and short area quickness to stay with man cover duties. So there's his strengths and his weaknesses, and then this is just a complete synopsis of him as a player. While Bradley is considered undersized, he has more than adequate speed to cover running backs and tight ends. A smart, instinctive player, he uses his quickness to flash into the backfield to make plays behind the line of scrimmage, which is the type of linebacker that I think Giants fans want. Obviously, he's not of the same skill set of a guy like Isaiah Simmons. Some scouting reports have described Bradley as a player who can flow sideline to sideline, given his speed and athleticism. Interestingly, some of those same reports believe that he's a fit for a hybrid linebacker or safety or as a money backer, which is interesting. Obviously, the Giants had a system last year that called for a money backer, but the Giants' new system, I do still think, will look for players like him that are versatile. Whether or not he's talented enough to be a starter at the NFL level, well, that remains to be seen, and I'm sure the Giants are judging that. But he's certainly on the Giants' radar, and he's been on the Giants' radar now for a couple of months. So expect Shaun Bradley potentially to be drafted by the Giants this year in the later rounds, whether it's rounds 4, 5, or 6. I wanted to do my homework on him after I saw a couple articles written about him, and I've seen that the Giants have been linked to him here for a couple of months. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.